Hello world, my name is Z, or you can call me Mr. Z. I am a web developer and I am also a consultant at Z World Webs. My one goal is to develop custom websites that are specifically catered to your organization's needs. I completely understand that building a website is an exhilarating, exciting, and significant step in connecting with your audience. Your organization has Z potential to make a meaningful impact, whether it's supporting animal rights, advocating for equality, combating human trafficking, or honoring the brave individuals who have served our country. Your mission is too important to be held back by the challenges a website can present. And I am here to ensure that your website works for you, not against you. Whether it's maintaining, developing, or redeveloping a custom website that is specifically catered to your needs. And with that being said, I would be more than delighted to learn more about your organization and, of course, develop a website Z World is waiting for. Thank you.
Introducing Shop, Click, and Pick, the simplest way to support those doing good in communities everywhere. We understand that shopping is a necessity, but with a slight adjustment, you can make a huge difference without spending any extra money. Here's how it works. Please visit communitypayitforward.us and navigate to the Find Your Partners tab. Discover our verified giving partners, which are trusted allies ready to meet your needs. Shop with any of the partners that resonate with you. Click a picture of the receipt or invoice, then pick the mission partner you wish to support and use their QR code to send the receipt directly to us. After that, all you have to do is sit back and enjoy your purchases, knowing that you've made a meaningful change for someone in need. Community Pay It Forward amplifies your business's impact by sharing the story of those who require your services, rallying support for those who need us all. Because no one needs to go it alone when we all come together. Imagine a world where small acts of kindness create a ripple effect of support. A world where financial struggles never stand in the way of hope. That's the vision behind Community Pay It Forward. After a life-changing motorcycle accident, I saw firsthand the devastating impact unexpected financial hardships can have on families. That's why I started Community Pay It Forward, to ensure that no one faces these challenges alone. Community Pay It Forward is more than just a single program. Through community impact and IMpACT podcasting, people all coming together, we amplify the voices of those making a difference. And with Community Dare to Care, we provide essential goods like clothing, food, and school supplies to those who need it most, to the community, from the community, for the betterment of the community. With Community Pay It Forward, we support families, children, veterans, community projects, no matter where they are. We are not just providing assistance, but hope for a brighter future, not just for people in need, but for businesses that are out there struggling, trying to find a way. We have a plan, but we need your help to reach the next level. We're launching a crowdfunding campaign to raise $500,000. This will allow us to market the Community Pay It Forward program more effectively and to acquire a vehicle for delivering essential goods to families in need in our community and enhance and strengthen our programs to serve even more people. And as a thank you for your generosity, we're offering special incentives for your contribution. As we tell people all the time, your donation, big or small, will help. It'll create lasting impact on our community. Join us in building a future where generosity and compassion lead the way. Visit our website today, communitypayitforward.us, or scan the QR code above and donate today. Together, we can pay it forward because no one needs to go it alone when we all come together.
Born into a real fight wasn't right. Where can she dream here? Took a hold of her life, left at night, stepping out of her fear.
Good morning, my dear friends. How you doing today? Zach Clayton, Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the PAC channel. And obviously, no, it is not morning time. Actually, it kind of is. It is for my son. By the way, before we go any further, even though it's not today yet here, today's still tomorrow for us. But for you, I know tomorrow is today. So happy birthday, Free. I love you, kiddo. Proud of you. Keep up the good work. He's my son who's in Japan, who's teaching English to children. He has a great time doing it. Such cute kids over there, and it's so funny some of the things that he gets them to say to me. Just as it is funny when I get to talk to him. They're not used to seeing large individuals, and they're really rather tiny. So my name is Zach Clayton, Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the PAC channels. Welcome to Community IMpACT. Tonight we do have a little bit of a packed show. Monday. Oh, Monday. It was a day. And I messed up on the podcast, hence the reason why it did not run again. I was going to go on ahead and I was going to try to edit it and send it out again. But then I realized, you know what? We're just going to redo it on Wednesday night. We're going to do it live. We're going to do it better. And we're going to go with that. So we've also had a couple conversations that we are going to play. These are two gentlemen who were supposed to join us for the mission for Healthy Heroes. Unfortunately, as I am a self-producer when it comes to this, sometimes I miss the mark on getting the link to them and stuff like that. By the way, speaking of this, if you are interested in helping us, volunteering and supporting us in any way, we do have a program that's going to be starting here real soon where we're asking for people to volunteer. We're asking for people to help us out because we really do want to grow. As you saw, we are starting a crowdfunding program to where people can help us. I need to get a vehicle to where we can take and deliver some of these items to the people who need it, go and pick up some of the items, help people out during difficult times. Our free outreach is really starting to lift up, and it would be so much easier if we had the truck and the trailer and we had everything in place. It would be so nice if we were able to obtain that 501c3. That way, Christmas and Thanksgiving, we were able to help out families for food and gifts and stuff like that. So please, if you are willing, if you are able, use this QR code and donate and help us out. There are awards for when you donate. We are also going to try to increase those donations as it comes along. I really, really want you to become part of the community Pay It Forward, because the community Pay It Forward is not just us, it is you. We cannot do things alone. We need your help. So we beg you, please help us out. Support us if you can. Scan the QR code. Tell us how you would like to help us. You can volunteer in this QR code. Say you're good at social media. Somebody's got to be, because I know it sure as hell isn't me. We need people to help us out. Please be specific. If you decide to volunteer, please be specific, because I am terrible at asking people to help, because I always feel guilty that I'm going to go to the well too many times. So I'd prefer if you tell me, you know what, I'm able to help you an hour a week, 2 hours a week. I would love to be able to tell more people about the Community Pay It Forward program. I'd like to go out there and talk to some of the nonprofits in my area, and maybe we can get them as mission partners and see what we can do. This is not going to be a struggling company at the end of this year. I'm telling you right now, we are going to do things by the end of this year that are really going to make a huge difference. So I would definitely appreciate any help that you can provide us. It would mean a whole hell of a lot to me. One of the things that we are looking for is a producer for next year's show. That can help me maintain and make sure that we're able to connect to the people who are coming on and being our guests. I want to give a huge shout out to Veteran Biz Connect, who is one of our main builder partners for the 2025 Mission for Healthy Heroes. Thomas jumped on. Thomas did a lot. You're going to be seeing a lot more of Thomas here before too long. He and I are starting a podcast that we're going to be working together that's going to be circled around Veteran Biz Connect and Community Pay It Forward. So we're really excited about that. You can get a hold of me by scanning this QR code. This is my card. All you got to do is simply scan that. It is my business card. Once you go there, you're going to be able to see anything and everything pretty much about me that you really need to know. Probably some things that you really don't need to know, but they're there. I do need to update it. I will be working on that later on this week, but I've been trying to close down the Mission for Healthy Heroes for 2025 so we can build it up for 2026. As the Mission for Healthy Heroes closes, we do have a new thing coming up. One in which our two guests tonight are people who deal with different levels of brain injuries. And so they do tie in to Brain Injury Awareness Month. Brain injury awareness is obviously very, very important to me due to my own brain injury from the motorcycle accident. TBI, multiple skull fractures, deaf in my right ear, migraine headaches every minute of every day. It's a struggle, but I'm not dead. And that's one of the things that we really want to do. We really want to make sure that people understand that a brain injury is not a death sentence. A brain injury, I think there's a lot of times that people will hear the words brain injury and they're thinking that they're going to see somebody who's a vegetable or unable to do things, and they're wrong. People with brain injuries, there are people who are doing amazing things. Amazing things. Just because we have had injuries to our brains do not mean that our brains don't work. There are many people who on the autistic scale who do things that are just flat amazing. If we only used and understood the brain more, it's hard to tell what we would be able to do. One of the other things that we're doing is coming up on April 28th. It is Pay It Forward Day. And I was approached by Mr. Roscoff, Kurt Roscoff, Sue Roscoff, and they were talking to me about how I would like to get involved with a huge thing that they've got going on. That day is Warriors Day. There's a lot going on that day. International Day of Happiness, something like that. And I decided that we're going to do this. We're going to put our own little spin on it. And we are going to really, really, really focus on a lot of the partners here in Community Pay It Forward. What is so important to them? Why did they start their business? That's one of the big questions we're going to be asking people. Why did you start this business? Where do you want to go with this business? What exactly do you do? And with the fact that you pay it forward, what are you hoping that we can do from there? Once we start helping each other, once we start working together, we can do a lot of things. And so we invite you to please join us. It is going to start at 5 p.m. East. And it's going to go for 3 hours because we're going to introduce somewhere around 15 of our giving partners. This is an event for our giving partners. These are the ones who take and they give us a referral every time that you shop with them. So this is going to be our first year doing this. We are extremely happy about doing this, and we hope that you join us. What if one small act could change a life? What if your everyday purchases could support a cause? Join me for a special 3-hour podcast as we introduce incredible giving partners. Hear inspiring stories. Learn how you can shop with a purpose. And be part of a movement that turns kindness into action. Tune in, ask questions, and discover how you can pay it forward today for a better tomorrow. 1 week from tomorrow, which is Thursday the 13th, we do have our family networking event. If you would like to join us, please let me know by sending me your email. Your email, you can just fill it out right inside this form here, and it asks, do you want to be part of the program? You fill out your email. I'm going to send you the document. You follow the document, you fill out the document. You can make it as much or as little as you want, and then I'll send you the link. You can join us. You can talk about your business. You can talk about your nonprofit. You can talk about what you're looking for in the business world. You can talk about wanting to find a job or hoping that somebody can help you find a different career path. Okay. The most important questions that we ask on this day is, who can you help today and how can we help you? So family networking is the place where we work to get your story told, and you don't have to worry about being sold, because we are not going to let people sell you items on this networking. This is about connection. This is about being together. It's about having fun, doing some business, and most of all, learning how we can support each other and those in need. Oh, I am so heavily congested, and I do apologize for that. Our first guest tonight is a really good friend of mine, Robert Petruziello. And I met him, and he is part of a wonderful program called Treasure Island. And this is a neat concept, and he's looking to build a team. This is a great team. This is a great program. If maybe you can't, maybe if you're looking for work and you can't leave the house, or maybe you just want to take and pad your funding, make a little bit of extra money. There's so many different things you can do with Treasure Island, and Robert's going to tell you how you can join his team, make a little bit of money, and have a lot of fun, and hopefully help out a lot of people as well. So this was supposed to be part of a mission of community that care. Oh, sorry. Mission for Healthy Heroes. I got so many business congestion. Not that I'm not smart. It's congestion. So we're going to get this started off with a real quick, it's a minute and 20-second video. So this explains a little bit about Treasure Island.
Join us in an exciting, never-seen-before reality event. We are bringing 16 social influencers together from across the United States to participate in the ultimate gangsters treasure hunt. Taking place over the course of 21 days in beautiful Las Vegas, this dynamic show will have these influencers compete in epic challenges and solve complex riddles to move towards their ultimate goal: Gangsters' Hidden Treasure. Follow each influencer as they advance through each challenge to find the next clue, which will put them one step closer to the big prize. Each influencer can enlist their social following to help them solve the puzzles. This will intensify the competitive drama while allowing the home viewers to become immersed in playing the challenge along with their influencers. So, what do you get when you combine 16 social influencers in the ultimate gangsters playground along with millions of their own social followers while crowning one team as the ultimate winner at the finale? Only the most exciting, intense, and emotional social challenge ever played out. Welcome to Treasure Island, Gangsters Paradise.
Every stay is a story, a getaway, a celebration, or a new beginning. Now your hotel or B&B can help you write a better story for someone in need. By joining Community Pay It Forward, a portion of each booking can support families, veterans, nonprofits, while attracting new customers from around the country. Hospitality that goes beyond comfort, it builds community. Join us today at communitypayitforward.us. No one needs to go it alone when we all come together.
Close, Zach. It's Petruziello.
Petruziello. Okay,
Got
well,
it good. Good job.
hey, I'm actually pretty impressed I got that close. So I'm pretty sure I'm spending the entire day butchering names, but so getting yours pretty close, that makes me happy. Robert, you are joining us to talk to us a little bit about a very unique program that for the next 3 years is going to be touching on some very important and wonderful organizations, starting this year with our
20 years. Well, let me jump right into how it works. So it's going to be a reality TV show, and then basically people earn off of it for free. Remember, you can join for free now, guys and ladies and gentlemen. You join for free, and then when you join, you're going to be earning passive income from 30 different, from referring your network to join with you for free. So that's how you join, and that's how it all works. So, and then we're going to have our vets coming out in a couple years as well, Zach. So,
what are the kind of resources that you, as a team affiliate leader, what are some of the resources that you're looking for, Robert? Who are you looking to get to join you in this program? Because as we saw on the video, there's a scavenger hunt aspect to this.
correct. So yeah, so actually they do the recruiting for who we're looking for, but it's basically for anybody can join for free. So basically, Zach, what you're trying to ask me is like who's going to be on the show. It's basically going to be social influencers, and the company finds those social influencers and they recommend them and they do all of that. So anybody that wants to join with me, I'm grateful to have you join my team.
And I know that when I had a conversation with Jeff, the brains behind this operation, he was also telling me that each location is having local celebrities and people of notable recognition from the communities as well, right?
Correct. Yep. Yep.
So what are you going to what's the first thing with Treasure Island that you are going to focus on? What is your first job as an affiliate? What are you looking to do?
So what I'm looking to do is to get as many people on board as possible for free. That's it. It's that simple. This is literally a no-brainer. We're asking people to build for the last time this opportunity. By the way, I forgot to mention this. It closes May 1st, 2025. So if you want to jump on board now is the time. But on top of that, Zach, March 15th of 2025, from now until then, they're going to be running a special. And that special, they're basically running a contest. And that contest is to see whoever gets the most people in their downline before March 15th. And whoever does, they get rewarded handsomely. First place, second place, and third place. So I'm encouraging everybody out there that has a large network to join today and to grab your spot, because this is a no-brainer. Like I said, Zach, it's free, so.
What is the obligation? Because you do not do the people who you sign with, they don't have to do any selling or anything. So what's
Correct.
the obligation of the people who join?
Well, all they have to do is just sit back and relax and watch the funds come in. Like for example, let's say you join, Zach. If you were to join and you join for free, there's also another option for you. If you choose to do this now, you can pay and loan Treasure Island money as little as $100 or in increments of $100. And when you do that, you get the money back within a 2-year period, then some. So it's a 2-month loan agreement that the company will sign with you, and it'll be emailed to you straight to your inbox. So yes, but no, there really is no obligation. All you do is just sign up, and if you want, you can share your affiliate links if you choose to. But if you sign up and do nothing, well, I guess there's a caveat. If you sign up and do nothing, you're really not going to benefit hardly at all from it. But if you sign up and share your referral links, you will earn, because basically it's kind of like, think of it like this, Zach, like a mall. Down the road, we're going to have hundreds of thousands of products in this mall. So when you go on the website, whatever website domain name it'll be /Zach, let's say. And people go to your site, people can see all these different products that we offer, And guess what? Zach earns a commission off of it, and people buy off of it. That's the bigger vision that you spoke about, Jeff. That's the bigger picture he has in mind. So
Okay. Truthfully, that sounds a lot like a program that's near and dear to my heart. The program I call Community Pay It Forward. It sounds very similar to what I created, except for instead of giving people the money, we give it to people in need. And we are actually in talks right now with the organization to become a mission, have them become a mission partner so we can support these programs like Our Kids, and next year for vets, and then the following year our pets. So can you tell us a little bit about For Kids?
you mean Our Kids?
Our Kids, yes, I'm sorry.
You're good. You're good. So Our Kids, yes. So this is a Treasure Island Productions company. Treasure Island Productions. Okay, so Our Kids is going to be a reality TV show, and it's basically going to air in different cities in the country of the U.S. to start off. And then Jeff wants to take it a step further. He's going to do worldwide eventually. That's down the road. But for this year, it's just going to be in the U.S. So yeah, they're going to do different cities in the U.S. per season. So it's really going to be amazing, Zach. Like I don't even know how to explain how big this is to people. I mean, it's just remarkable.
What kind of businesses do people have an opportunity to shop with?
What do you mean?
Or these people, the people who are on your team, they have affiliate links that they're going to ask people to use. What do those affiliate links go to?
So they're either they're products and services that the company either owns right out the gate, or they partner up with companies, or they white label companies. So that's so like, for example, I can give a tease here. We have this one energy drink that's going to be coming out, and the energy drink is like, it's going to be a clean energy drink. It kind of rivals the Rocks, if you will. The Rock Zoa Energy.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. That's fantastic. Some of the benefits for this, again, there's no recruiting. You can if you want to, but and you'll make a lot more money if you do refer people, but this is a free opportunity. There's no selling. The TV show and the cast will sell for you. No compensation plans to learn, no products to learn, and full transparency.
Exactly.
Does that sound about right?
Sounds about right.
So, Robert, I think that this, this really sounds like something that maybe if there are veterans who are out there or first responders who are out there who are thinking about, you know what, I want to retire, but I don't want to be done. I still want to have something to do. This sounds like a perfect opportunity for them to still be able to communicate with people in their networks and turn that networking into a little bit of extra cash.
Absolutely, Zach. Absolutely. That sounds exactly right. And that is what it is, right? The veterans don't need to retire from their business. They can just do their business, as well as tell all their veteran friends and their networks to join. And then boom, well, they'll have a booming economy while they're still working, while they're getting ready to retire. If they choose to retire, great. If they don't choose to, that's fine too. But yeah, you're exactly right. And this project, let me add a caveat to that. This project does not want people to retire out of their current project or take away from their current business or thing that they're doing. That's another beautiful thing about it. So
Yeah, this is just more expendable income, if anything. And let's be honest, with the price of things right now, expendable income is good. Um,
Yep.
Next year, we're looking at, to getting into the addition of the program for vets. Can you please give us any highlights or any idea what for vets is going to be?
Our vets, so it's basically going to be highlighting veteran organizations, that help veterans, if you will. So that's all I'm really know. I don't know any much more about it than that. So we're just gonna have to wait until that comes out to fully see that. So yeah.
And again, this show is covering the United States. We don't have one coming to Colorado, but we do have one coming to Cheyenne. And I know that we are 45 minutes away from Cheyenne. And again, in talks with Jeff, and it sounds like I might be up there in Cheyenne and spreading the work that we can do together to help them out and make life a little bit better for our kids, right? So we're
Yep.
looking forward to this. Um, Robert, how do people join your team?
I'm glad you asked that. So they would just go simply to this website. It's Roberts, that's Roberts, treasure, troves, TROVES.com. And then if anybody has any questions in the meantime, they can email me at Roberts, Roberts, treasure, troves, TROVES, at gmail.com. That's how
And
they
is
reach out to me.
and we'll have both of those linked to this show. They'll be bannered right underneath of us, so you can see that. We'll also have all the details on the website in the days to come as an appreciation for Robert joining us. Robert, would you like to say anything to our heroes or our veterans while we've got you on the air?
Well, most certainly I would.
Please.
I used to have I used to know a police officer in the great state of Ohio, and to be specific, in Chesterland, Ohio. He's no longer a police officer here, but I mean, I want to thank you guys, ladies and gentlemen, police officers, firefighters. I just want to thank you guys so much, because I don't know if people know this, but I'm disabled as well. So I need a lot. I mean, years ago, I needed a lot of help. Even last year, I needed help, and I really appreciate the nurses out there, the doctors, all the paramedics. They're just all wonderful people to work with, and I just really appreciate what you're doing here, Zach, doing this for everybody here. So thank you too.
Hey, you know what? We do this because they're out there, they're busting their butt every day. They're trying to make a difference, and we want to make sure they are still around to continue to make that difference. And
And can I say one
Robert, with people
thing?
like you helping them and supporting them, I'm pretty sure that we can try to find a solution to problems they may have.
Yeah, and can I add one last thing, Zach, before we close out?
Yeah, please.
So these first responders, they don't get any thanks or praise for what they're doing. I see police officers and nurses and everything, because I used to go to the hospital a lot last year, and it's crazy, Zach, because these nurses, these police officers that man the hospital or whatever, if you will, they don't get any praise, and to me, that's sick. That is absolutely sick. How people don't praise the nurses or the police officers or the first responders. I mean, it's just crazy to me, Zach. So I want to commend what you're doing here with what you're doing. So I really appreciate what you're doing here too.
I
Exposing the first
appreciate it, and
responders.
you're right. I mean, that is one of the detriments that they give up when they sign on to do what they do. One of the biggest things they need to realize that is part of their life now is they are in a profession where they deal with the worst of times.
Yup.
They get to deal with people when things are not going right. You know, firefighters, they're going to see you when your house is on fire. A police officer is going to be there when when there's a law that's been broken. Most of the time, a nurse is there because someone is hurting in your family. And these are all high pressure, high intense moments. And you're right, Robert. You're very right. We need to take a breath and step back. And we need to
Yup.
realize, you know what? They're doing their best. I need to give them a little space.
Exactly. Now, can I also say something else too, Zach?
Yeah, please.
It's like, for example, I used to always go to the hospital, like I said recently, and I feel like so my parents weren't able to pick me up because it was late at night the one night. So I asked them if I can talk to the sheriff's department, and they says more than gladly we'll call them for you, or you call them, and they gave me their number, and I called them. They brought me home. And to me, Zach, that's what sheriffs are for, to do whatever they can do in our communities locally. That's what they're there to do. And I'm very grateful for that sheriff's deputy who brought me home that day. So, and I remember that, and I'm very grateful for that. So, if you're watching this and you're a sheriff, hats off to you, for real.
I completely agree with you there. I completely agree with you there, Robert. All right, Robert, once again, that is robertstreasuretroves.com.
Correct.
robertstreasuretroves.com. And of course, you can reach out to him and have a conversation by visiting robertstreasuretroves@gmail.com. robertstreasuretroves@gmail.com. Once again, look right below us. You'll see it streaming throughout the show. Robert, I want to thank you so very much for joining us.
You're very welcome, Zach, and keep up the awesome work, my friend.
Well, thank you, my brother, and we'll keep up with all the good things that you're doing, and good luck to you and your team.
Thank you so much.
All right. Your customers' everyday purchases can make a difference. Whether they're shopping in store or from a computer, for their family, or just to treat themselves. Why not help them turn those purchases into support for a cause they love? As a community pay it forward giving portion of what they spend goes directly to a mission that touches their heart at no extra cost to them. With our Shop, Click, and Pick program, it's so easy. They visit our website, choose your business, and make a purchase. Then they simply choose a cause they love, and because they made the purchase from you, donate to a cause they love. Community pay it forward. No one needs to go it alone. When we all come together. Well, that was really kind of funny. That was the first time I watched that video, and I can see where I messed up on the video. So, thank you very much for pointing that out. I appreciate it. Yeah. I love how you all watch out for me there. So, anyway, I want to thank Robert for joining us. As you all saw, I had a little bit of a mouth problem on that day. Part of the things that I have to suffer with due to the head injury, there are times because I hit the fence, I lost all my teeth. And there are times that the teeth just won't fit in my mouth, and it's pretty damn annoying, let me tell you. So nothing like that old trick where you're sitting there talking and all of a sudden they just come popping out, so looking like the alien. So we want to do a little bit of a redo from Monday, and I want to talk a little bit about animal assisted therapy, or AAT. Animal assisted therapy leverages the unique characteristics of various animals to support therapeutic process. Below is detailed examinations of commonly used animals, outlining expectations, maintenance, and functional relationships and potential challenges associated with each. Okay, first, of course, we're going to be talking about dogs. Why? Well, it's because, look, a good majority or a good portion of uh, families here in America have had or do have dogs. Dogs are very useful, and honestly, they're easy to train. It's not cheap to train them, but I told this story on Monday. We've got the white dog. You guys have seen the white dog many times. And that white dog, if I'm having a joint problem, or, my wrist is hurting, or my knee or my ankle is hurting, that dog senses where my pain is. And where I'm not a guy that likes being licked, you know what? That dog will come up and he will lick that area, because that's what a dog, that's kind of what he does in order to relieve pain for himself. They have that whole licking thing. But Ghost is very, very good at being able to find that place where I'm hurting. Dogs are useful this way. They are able to find locations where you hurt. They're able to find if maybe you're about ready to have a diabetic crash, or a moment um, where you're going to need help. Of course, you have the seeing eye dogs. You also have companion dogs. You have all the dogs are just so well in tuned with their owners. They're a wonderful, wonderful animal. Expectations. Dogs are anticipated to provide emotional support, reduce anxiety, and encourage social interaction. I think that one is really highly underappreciated. A dog is so easy to start up a conversation with someone else. You're in a dog park, you're walking your dog, somebody's going to come up to you, they're like, cute dog, what, and dogs are so good. And if it's somebody who's having issues starting conversations, having that dog is really, really important. Their presence can facilitate a rapport building between therapists and clients, aiding in the therapeutic process. I I guess that would be, if you have lower stress levels, maybe you don't need the doctor as much, the therapist as much. Maintaining a functional relationship. Therapy dogs require comprehensive training to ensure appropriate behavior in diverse settings. Handlers must establish a strong bond with a dog. That's I don't see that as a problem. You know, a dog is part of you. You are everything to that dog. Uh, Starting a relationship and bonding with dogs is so easy to do. I mean, honestly, it really is. Handlers must, um, handlers must establish a strong bond with the dog, characterized by trust and effective communication. Regular assessments, ongoing training are essential to maintain the dog's suitability for therapy work. This is what kind of bugs me about people who sit there and just throw a vest on a dog and say, boom, he's a therapy dog. I think that really takes away from the hard work that therapy dogs do and the importance of a therapy dog. I love my dogs. My dogs are great. And my dogs mean everything to me. When I feel down, when I feel a little bit depressed, if my dogs are there, I feel better sometimes. You know, I really do think that a lot of times we diminish the hard work that these animals do. Some of the challenges you can have with dogs: allergies and phobias. Some clients may have allergies to a dog or fear them, limiting the applicability of canine assisted therapy. Animal welfare, ensuring that the well-being of a therapy dog is crucial. Overworking or exposing them to stressful environments can lead to burnout or health issues. I said this on Monday. Please stop taking your damn dogs into Walmart, because these trained animals, these ones that actually need to be in there, it distracts them. It not only puts the dogs in a difficult situation, but it also puts the person who's depending on that dog in a very difficult, dangerous situation. I believe every single one of us should have every right in the world, okay? But I think that every single one of us needs to remember that, you know what? Just because I have the right doesn't mean, just because I have the right to eat the whole bowl of pudding doesn't mean I should. I probably will, but I shouldn't. Safety concerns. Despite training, unpredictable situations may arise, posing risks for both the dog and the client. Again, if you put a dog, if you approach a trained dog, if you put you're walking your dog inside of a store, if you do all these other things that can be seen, and your dog's maybe not the kindest dogs to other animals, or you know you were really putting other people in danger. So please consider this before you take your dog into the store. This one kind of shocked me, all right, just because I would never see this. I've read it like 3 times and I still don't get it. But cats, the expectations include cats are valued for their calming presence, which can help reduce stress and promote relaxation, especially in individuals who may be intimidated by larger animals. I guess I can understand that, but cats are so fickle. You know, I've yet to know a cat that hasn't at one point in time been your best friend and scratched the snot out of you right in the same minute. So, in order to maintain a functional relationship, therapy cats should be socialized to be comfortable with handling and being in various environments, regular health checkups, and ensuring that the cat's comfort during all sessions are vital. Some of the challenges: unpredictable behavior. Cats may become stressed or overstimulated, leading to scratching or retreating. Allergies. Cat allergies are common and can limit their use in therapy settings. Engagement levels. Cats may not always engage as actively as other animals, which could affect the therapy's effectiveness. Again, I, I honestly, I do. I think that if you have a cat that you can really, and I know people love their cats. Okay, I know that they love their cats, and I've just never been a cat guy, I guess. So I just don't really get it. This is one that we talk quite a bit about because we've got our friends JR with the Veterans Ranch, and we've got my really good friend John Vogels, who is trying to start a therapy campground here in Colorado with Martyred Angels horses or equine assisted therapy. Some of the expectations are horses are utilized to improve emotional regulation, self confidence, and physical coordination. I think that if you are able to get a horse to like you, you should have all the self confidence in the world, because those animals just are weird. And I'm a guy who owns a spider. Activities like grooming and riding can enhance motor skills and provide a sense of accomplishment. This is one of the things that JR always says. Before you even come close to putting a foot in the reins or putting reins on that animal, he's going to put a brush in your hand and you're going to get to know that animal. You're going to get to know what the horse feels, how that horse feels. It can read you by the way that you brush. They are very intuitive, and I really think that, you know, I think it's interesting how that reaction to each other is so calming. The ability to maintain functional relationships depends on building trust between the client and the horse. It's one of the fundamentals. Constant routines, gentle handling, and understanding equine behavior contribute to successful therapeutic relationships. Some of the challenges: there are safety risks. Okay, these are large animals. They are also large animals that are not inherently your friend. These are animals that, you know, hey, they can love you or not. It's up to that. The size and strength of horses pose inherent risks requiring stringent safety protocols. Cost and accessibility. Equine therapy is probably the most expensive of all of the therapies out there. Obviously, a horse is going to eat a lot. A horse is going to take up a lot of room. Horse is going to take up a lot of care. You know, you don't just put a bowl on the ground and fill it with kibble, and you know, it does take a lot. And horses may not be readily accessible to all individuals. It is physically demanding, and that is one of the things that really limits some people's ability to utilize this sort of therapy. Engaging with horses may be physically demanding, limiting participation for some clients. We've got a couple more animals that we're going to talk about, but I just wanted to stop the show for a second. And once again, I want you to know that we are still taking messages for our heroes. And from us at Community Pay It Forward and my friends at Things Network, we simply want to say thank you, heroes. Small animals like rabbits or guinea pigs, believe it or not, are used for therapies. Some of the expectations for small animals, they're often used to teach gentle touch and responsibility, particularly in children or individuals with allergies to larger animals or fear of larger animals. Maintaining a functional relationship is means regular, gentle handling is necessary to keep these animals accustomed to human interactions. Clean living environments and proper nutrition are essential. Some of the challenges, they're very fragile. These, I know guinea pigs are extremely skittish as well. Their delicate nature requires careful handling to prevent injury. They've got a shorter lifespan. And I think personal, personal comment here. I think that's one of the reasons why I don't like this for kids. Okay, at least younger kids. I really see that as something that. uh, Why would you want to get a kid so wrapped up in an animal that's no longer going to be there? I don't know what the lifespan of a rabbit is. I don't think it's all that long, but I don't know much about them. Limited interaction. Their capacity, excuse me, not capacity. Their capacity for interaction is less compared to larger animals, potentially reducing the therapeutic impact. This next one is very interesting, and if it wasn't for Adrian, I'm not sure if I would ever believe it. But it's birds. Birds, particularly parrots, are used to engage individuals in communication exercises, benefiting those with speech or social interaction challenges. You literally can talk and hold conversations with some birds. It's ridiculous, but you can. Regular socialization and mental stimulation, which apparently my brain needs a little bit more of this evening, are crucial for birds. Clean cages, balanced diets, and veterinary care are also important to maintain their health. I know Adrian's bird. As soon as she walks into the office, the damn thing flies over and sits in her head. Every time I walk in the room, I must smell like chicken or something because that bird freaks out. A bird just does not like me. Some of the challenges: noise levels. Some birds can be very loud, which may not be suitable in all therapy settings. PTSD, I think, is one of them that would really, really be challenging. Allergies and zoonotic diseases. Birds can carry diseases transmittable to humans, necessitating stringent hygiene practices. Think avian flu right now. Specialized care. Birds require specific care routines. Any neglect can lead to health issues. This is not in this list here, but I did look it up because I was really curious. Because, folks, I have a habit of doing this in the morning. I come in here and I sit down. I turn on the light right over there, and I sit here and I watch my friends. And I can sit here for 5 or 10 minutes just to catch myself, just to find my head, find my thoughts. And Sometimes it takes 5-10 minutes. Sometimes I'll lose track of time and I'll just be sitting there watching my fish swim. Some of the reasons why this is really calming to me: you can hear the water flow. You can watch the fish swim peacefully. For the red-tailed sharks, and those two book ass after each other, and it's a little stressful sometimes, but is what it is. The bubbles. You can hear the bubbles in there. There's a lot. There's a lot of things in the cleaning, the setup, that are challenging, but it's fun to do. When you look inside my tank, you see a lot of things that are from past. There's Egyptian, Mayan, Roman structures inside there, because I have that love of history. And I personally, we were talking about the small animals, and this is where I would go. If I had a child that I was trying to maybe help therapeutically, and if I'm wrong, please, please, please leave a message, contact me. If there are any doctors who are watching this and you disagree with me, I would love to know why. And I promise you, when you tell me why I'm wrong, or you tell me what your thoughts are, I will discuss it right here. We will discuss this, because if I am saying something that's wrong, I want to make sure that we get it. I want to make sure that we get that fixed, because I want to be as accurate as I can. But if I had a younger individual, I'm not sure I would go the route of a lizard or a guinea pig or something like that, due to the shorter lifespan. I think I would go with an aquarium. Not because there's a shorter lifespan, but I've got 9 neon tetras in there, and I can't tell them apart. I've named every single one of them too. Every single one of my fish has a name. That's right. I am that wackadoo that names my fish. Where, yes, eventually we got to learn life rules and stuff like that. I think as a young kid, I think that's something that we really shouldn't have to push too often. Some of the general considerations across all animal assisted therapies: ethical, good God. I need to pet my dog, apparently. Ethical and safety concerns. Therapists must ensure that both the client and the animal's welfare are prioritized. This includes obtaining information and consent, maintaining professional boundaries, and adhering to ethical guidelines. Training and certifications. Both animals and handlers should undergo appropriate training and certification to ensure competency and safety in therapeutic settings. A dog, a cat. Oh, I hear one of the dogs. Rose, come here, Rosie. Come on. Come on. Here's one of our dogs. This is one that you don't see very often. This is our Rosie, or I like to call her Beans. So she's one of our puppies. But beautiful, beautiful, beautiful animal. So really well behaved. Not a lap dog, but she thinks she is. There is a difference between therapeutic dogs and your dog. Okay. Again, that's where I beg you to consider taking that dog into a store. Infection control. Implementing proper hygiene and infection control measures is essential to prevent zoonotic disease transmission. In conclusion, while animal assisted therapy often offers numerous benefits, it is imperative to consider the specific needs and challenges associated with each type of animal. Proper training, ethical considerations, and focus on both the human and the animal welfare are essential components of successful therapy program. You do not want to put an animal in a situation with somebody who maybe has anger issues, uncontrollable anger issues. You don't want to put the animal in that situation. First off, if you put a dog in that situation, a dog's going to protect itself. A cat's going to protect itself. I don't know if a guinea pig protects itself that well, but I know it wouldn't be fun to watch it pop. So that's animal assisted therapy. And I do once again want to say thank you very much for allowing us to talk about this. These are very important. We just want to make sure that people are understanding some of the greater and some of the more specific ways that are being tested out there, that are being used out there for people with mental issues. And animal therapy, I believe, is probably one of my favorite out there, just because animals are great. I love them. I know I love them. So, my congestion is killing me. Next up, folks, I conducted this interview with a great friend the other day, Mr. George Glass. Hyperbaric. I didn't know exactly what I was going into when we were talking about it. I did have that thought in my mind that we were going to go into one of those clamshell looking things that has the water, and you were going to go in there. It was going to be dark. What do you have to worry about? Claustrophobia, all these other things. Boy, was I wrong. Here is George Glass with mountain hyperbarics. We are continuing our stories from Mission for Healthy Heroes, partly because we ran out of time, and the other reason is that I was self-producing and couldn't read messages and didn't properly get a link to my next guest. How are you doing? Is it Dr. Glass? Or
It is not. I appreciate that thought, though, that many people actually will walk into our clinic and think that I am a doctor. However, I am not. I do run a hyperbaric clinic. We do have an overseeing physician in that hyperbaric clinic who clears our patients for treatment and provides us with prescriptions for treatment. But I am an individual who came to hyperbarics in order to really improve people's lives, to give people hope in their lives who otherwise really don't feel like it's there. They don't feel like the support is there. They don't feel like, in a lot of cases, and this is particularly with veterans, where you don't feel like they want to be here anymore. And we want to actually really transcend that and move people beyond that. And yes, I do get mistaken being a physician on occasions.
Well, joining us is George Glass. George, can you explain to people out there who might have an idea or maybe not even have a clue, what is a hyperbolic treatment? Hyperbaric.
So hyperbaric oxygen therapy, or HBOT, as you'll see it on the internet when you surf and look for information. So the process of hyperbaric oxygen therapy is actually treating somebody under increased atmospheric pressure. So any of you out there who are in the Navy, you get this because you lived it. So you are under increased atmospheric pressure while you're breathing either concentrated or medical grade oxygen. What does that do? So basically what hyperbarics does is it's very simple, and it doesn't matter what we're treating. The pressure dramatically reduces inflammation throughout the system and in the body. So, in our case, and we're talking about programs we run for veterans with traumatic brain injuries, post-concussive syndrome, and even PTSD, the reality is those conditions are a result of the inflammatory process in the brain, in this case. So we're dramatically reducing inflammation, and then we're maximizing the oxygenation of the blood plasma. And it's able to get into areas it wasn't able to get into before because the inflammatory process was inhibiting circulation, which carries the essential nutrients for cellular health. When it comes to brain injuries and that, we're just talking about neurological cells in the brain. But it's not a targeted treatment. It's not just going to treat a traumatic brain injury. It's not just going to treat PTSD. It actually has a fully systemic impact. So, if you were coming in and you were being treated for that, and at the same time, you had a cut that won't heal on your foot at the other end of your body, it's actually going to impact and help the healing process with that as well.
Let me ask you a question, and this really just kind of popped up to me. What is somebody using a CPAP machine? Is it similar? Because the CPAP machine is shoving that. It's not the medical grade oxygen, obviously, but it is shoving more oxygen into your body. Is it a similar act, or is it completely different?
Yeah, so the mechanism of action, so to speak, so how it works, it's actually very different. Usually, CPAP machines in that are used in instances where they're actually, and you said it, they're actually just forcibly infusing you with oxygen or concentrated oxygen. And the reason is that you have an obstruction, you have the inability to actually bring that in. And I have lived and been around people with like Lou Gehrig's disease, for instance, ALS, and they don't have the ability to breathe on their own. So you are actually mechanically helping them to breathe. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy is really very different in that case. So what we're doing is taking people who generally they have the ability to breathe quite well, or it's even inhibited. We've actually treated quite a number of people with COVID long haulers, and they have continued symptoms. And actually, Zach, that call I was talking to you about, we were actually talking about COVID long haulers, and you can actually look at brain injury, and it actually depletes the blood flow to the brain in some cases, and that's where these symptoms come up. So, without getting too much down the rabbit hole with the physiology and that of it, quite simply, it is about that reduction of inflammation. So, to use a great example, and again, if you're a diver or you were in the Navy, serving in the Navy, so the bends.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
what's the treatment for the bends? A hyperbaric oxygen therapy chamber. That is the treatment. It is the only treatment for it. And how it works is this: you have all those frothy bubbles that are in your vessels, and the pressure actually compresses those bubbles so that they're so small that they actually escape and go out through the vessel walls. And then you're oxygenating that individual. So again, that's how it works. And again, it doesn't matter what we're treating. If it's the bends or a traumatic brain injury, or we've treated people for mold toxicity and Lyme disease, macular degeneration, and everything in between. So there's really very few limitations to the use of hyperbarics in oxygen therapy.
Can you give me an example of what happens when somebody comes in for a treatment? What do they go through?
Oh, so it actually depends. We have both a medical grade chamber or a hard-sided chamber, what they call a hard-sided chamber, monoplace or one person, although in our chamber we can actually treat 2 people at once in our medical grade chamber. We also have what's called a mild hyperbaric chamber, soft-sided chamber. The soft-sided chamber, we don't need medical clearance for that, for the use of that. It's a lower atmospheric pressure. We're using concentrated oxygen. The medical grade chamber, however, because oxygen is considered to be a drug, needs a prescription for us to treat. So that's actually step number 1, is to be cleared in the medical grade chamber, and we are provided with a prescription. As far as the patient's concerned, once they walk in the door, we actually go through and walk them through the entire process of what to expect during a session, depending on whether it's the mild hyperbaric chamber or the medical grade chamber. We walk them through everything they're going to experience. We talk them through, and some of this is really about making this a very comfortable process, because, hey, you're getting in a chamber. It's unusual. It's strange for most people. Again, unless you've been treated for the bends, you spent time in the Navy, or actually you were a pilot, where they just use the inverse process for training pilots. But we walk them through so each individual is comfortable when they get in the chamber with the treatment process, how the communication happens in that, and it's different between the 2 chambers, what they can or cannot bring into a hyperbaric chamber, limitations before or after, which actually there aren't any. That's actually a question that happens all the time with people. They'll ask us. One of the other really popular questions people ask us, well, you're monitoring the chamber, but what if something happens to you? You're monitoring the chamber, how do I get out? We actually show, because even our medical grade chamber has the ability to self-decompress it. So there are controls actually within the chamber that allow an individual to let themselves out of the chamber. Same with our mild hyperbaric chamber. It's a wonderful safety feature in the chamber that we have. It makes people more comfortable. Questions around another popular question when it comes to hyperbarics is claustrophobia. Am I going to be in this tight confined space, or is it like an MRI? That those 2 questions come together quite often. So no, it's not like an MRI. And here are the reasons why. Number 1, it's quiet. Number 2, you do not have to stay still. You can move around as much as you like in our chamber and get comfortable. It's like getting into bed, quite honestly. There's a mattress in there, you have a pillow, you have your blanket, you have a towel in that chamber. And in those chambers, if you like to bring your favorite book in there, you can read a book. The only things that are no-goes in there, really absolute no-goes, are no electronics whatsoever.
Only no smoking.
No smoking, yes. There's an absolute.
Yeah, yeah, I don't see anybody sitting in there throwing matches, Uh, so
So yeah,
that
but
probably wouldn't be a good
we
idea.
have very particular protocols around when somebody enters the chamber to make sure that we are putting somebody in and diving them using the Navy vernacular around it. The, so we do call it a dive, but we do it in the safest way imaginable.
I've seen one of these chambers. It was a smaller one, and it didn't have the bed in it or anything. This was just it had a bench. It was a beautiful little glass box, that they had, and I don't know if they're like that, but you mentioned the claustrophobia thing. I think one of the reasons why I'm really glad that we're doing this is there's a lot of people who have seen maybe on TV or maybe on commercials or something where the people take and they get into the clam looking thing that also has water and it shuts down on them, and they're like, oh hell no, I'm not doing that. So uh
Nor would I.
yeah, yeah, very unlikely that I would do that either, but what are some of the things that do happen to people that are that people do stress out about when they go into them?
Yeah, we typically, we're going to have people who have anxiety going into a chamber,
Yeah.
and we can talk about PTSD. I mean, there's a perfect
Hmm.
example.
Yep.
Somebody has PTSD, they might be challenged by getting into that chamber. We definitely talk them through that if they're on meds, for instance. At least initially in treatment, don't go off of your anxiety meds before getting treatment. Of course, we've had veterans and other people who've had high anxiety. They're on medication, and by the time they get through midway through the treatment program, they can actually back off their medications, which is the great thing about it. That means the brain is healing, because that reaction, that anxiety in that, or claustrophobia, that's the brain not functioning in a good, healthy manner. That's really all it is. Uh, it's a physiological reaction. That's a reaction to what's happening physically within the brain. You heal the brain, those things actually fade away. Claustrophobia. So just to give you an indication of this, so we have done, in the 7 years we've been open, we have done over 6,000 individual treatment sessions. I have never had to pull somebody out of the medical grade chamber ever because they're anxious or claustrophobic in that. And that's just, it's our preparation for the patient when getting them in the chamber. It's the understanding that they have an escape hatch, so to speak, that they can get out of that chamber if absolutely necessary, that there's somebody there who is monitoring that chamber, that they can move around, that they can read a book. These factors and the size of the chamber, it's far bigger than like an MRI machine. Again, it's quiet, there's windows in it, and there's communication, although that's the same in an MRI. But there's a lot of things that are very different that allow for it to be a relaxing experience.
I remember one time, and this has nothing to do with any of this, but you brought up an MRI, and they took, and I went in for an MRI, and they put me on that table and started to have the table slide into the tube, and all of a sudden they noticed that I stopped, and so they backed it out a little bit and tried to go again, and I stopped again. And they backed it out and they tried to go one more time. And I finally had to ask him, so when are you going to realize that my shoulders are hitting it and I do not fit in this too? And so that was an interesting experience. I'll tell you this, by that time, I was pretty stressed out, because it was like, okay, we're not paying attention here, and that's really not what I want to hear. But you had mentioned to me prior that you and your wife have experience with traumatic brain injury. One of the things that I deal with on my TBI is if I get into like a higher pressured area, my head feels like it's going to explode. Is this something I would experience in one of these chambers?
I have never had that. I have never had that experience with somebody. There is one thing. So you asked me a question just, about it. So there's two instances where that are absolute no-goes in a hyperbaric chamber. Those two are, and actually somebody called us today with this, a collapsed lung or pneumothorax.
Okay.
And yep, you're in the hospital, so you're not getting in a chamber anyway. But the pressure would actually continue to collapse the lung. So you don't put somebody in who has a collapsed lung. The other is barotrauma or severe barotrauma. So let's say somebody has a bad virus or a cold, bad head cold. You don't put somebody in the chamber because it will increase the pressure. We do very carefully walk people through the pressurization process. So this probably answers your question well. This is part of our pre-talk when we're putting somebody in the chamber. A hyperbaric chamber, particularly our medical grade hyperbaric chamber, operates the same way as a plane does. How do I know this? The person who originally owned the chamber was an overseas airline pilot. So he uses this as an analogy all the time. So you're going up in, here we are in Durango at 7,500 feet or 6,500 feet, and we're going up to 36,000 feet. What are they doing in that process? They're pressurizing the cabin to somewhere around sea level, somewhere in that neighborhood. And if you ever have to clear your ears when you're going up in a plane, you will probably have to clear your ears when you get into a hyperbaric chamber, or they'll get uncomfortable. Same process. So we walk people through, what can you do if this arises? I have to clear my ears. I've been in a hyperbaric chamber well over 100 times. Every single time I go in the chamber, I have to clear my ears constantly in order to relieve the pressure in my ears, in my eustachian tubes. So if swallowing works, great. If jutting your jaw forward opens up your eustachian tubes, great. If you need to take your mask off and pinch your nose and do the Valsalva maneuver and blow to clear your ears out, do that. If you do it early and often, you will not have a problem with the pressure. And that's one of the main reasons why we don't have to take people out of the chamber. We also have the ability to slow the compression process so somebody can take the time to clear their ears if they're having a problem clearing their ears. So we can back the pressure off, we can take it down and then repressurize. So there's ways to work with issues when they come up with people, including anxiety. We will spend time on the intercom and talking to people on the intercom and talking them through a 5-step breathing process. So this is good for anybody. This doesn't matter if you're in hyperbarics or not. So if you do a 5-count breath in, hold at the top, and release that breath in a 5-count, your parasympathetic nervous system that's working overtime and getting anxious will calm down. So you can use this anywhere. You're in traffic and you're PO'd at the person in front of you, do the 5-step breathing process. It'll help take you down and take that anger and anxiety down and being in traffic.
It's angry driving.
Yeah.
What about you mentioned no electronics, but what about pacemakers?
That's an excellent question. So most older pacemakers cannot go into a hyperbaric chamber at higher pressures. What we need to do in those cases is if somebody has a pacemaker, particularly if it's an older one, we have to defer to the manufacturing company and find out how it's been tested. Because all of those medical devices have been tested under pressure. The question is, what's the pressure that device can actually still operate well in. So we've actually had people, particularly in our mild hyperbaric chamber with pacemakers, because there are new models. The newer models can go to much greater pressures than our chambers can go to. So yeah, it is a case-by-case basis. The rule of thumb is defer to the manufacturer of a pacemaker as to whether or not a patient can get in the chamber or not.
Okay. This is a it seems like it's a silly question, but I think it's really important. Somebody who's struggling with PTSD, they come to see you, they get into a chamber. Exactly what is it about this treatment that helps them start seeing things clearer?
Around PTSD, so I go back again, and it's great because the important point should be pointed out numerous times. So when somebody has a PTSD or they have any other kind of disorder, let's say it's ADD, ADHD, bipolar, multiple personality disorders, PTSD, if you actually look at the brain, and the way to look at it is actually through what's called SPECT imagery. And I won't go into the details of that, but basically what that shows is it shows and it hits you here in the head. So your temporal lobe gets injured. When we look at the brain and we actually look at disorders like PTSD, it actually shows up as a very specific pattern of insufficiency of blood flow and actually function in the brain. And the thing is that you have mechanisms and you have different ways that can actually help to heal that portion of the brain. So there's actually a physical abnormality in the brain that shows that there's not good blood flow. I wish I actually just had a chart to put up in the camera right now that shows it. But insufficiency of blood flow and improper function of the brain, and it will show both in it. When you're in a hyperbaric chamber, what it does, again, is you're taking the inflammatory process out, you're maximizing the oxygenation of the blood supply that's carrying nutrients into an area that has been impacted. Now, it's not a physical impact, but it still shows the same type of injury to the brain or deficiency in the brain as getting hit. It's actually not, it's not any different. The difference is that you're displaying some form of a mood disorder or PTSD, something like that, PTSD being a mood disorder. So it's actually physically healing the brain so that the PTSD falls away. Here's another part. So PTSD, you're bringing this up, or anxiety. In a brain injury treatment program, there's actually markers in a treatment program that we look at, and particularly with veterans. What we see is at 10 sessions into a treatment program, they're starting to get and show physiological changes. So basic things from a traumatic brain injury and or PTSD, and they usually go together. They're inseparable. What happens is at that time is the headaches start to drift away. They're sleeping better. The cognitive clarity, the brain fog that comes with a brain injury, these things start to fall away and they start going, oh, so I can see that I'm beginning to heal. These things are starting to change. If you're getting good sleep, your brain has an opportunity to heal. That's physiological fact. When we get into the middle of the treatment program, a little further into the treatment program, there's usually a point in time where the brain is healing at such a rate that actually somebody who's had a traumatic event, like a veteran, they actually the bad dreams that might be there, they can actually heighten for a period of time, or reliving because their brain is actually healing to such a rate that if they forgot or masked the event, they're beginning to remember what happened. What we like to see is not only do we keep a close eye on them, but we actually, when they're working with a therapist, which, hopefully they are, that they actually step up their therapy during that period of time. And it's just to help walk through this few days where they might experience that. And then after that few days is that going through a hard period and then getting to the other side of it and the greener pastures where that's healed to such a degree that if they're in therapy and that they can actually walk through that in a much easier way. But it is, again, it's a physical injury to the brain. Really, it shows as a physical injury to the brain.
It was just my next question was going to be, should somebody have like a secondary or an additional therapy going on when they're doing this? You mentioned maybe having some talk therapy going on with this, or another type of therapy to use this, and to combine. That way you make sure that everything is taking effect properly. So, what about any other? After this, I'll let you go, George. But what about physical limitations? Are there people other than obviously the ones we've already talked about? Are there physical limitations that keep people out of these chambers?
Yes, there are. Because of the type of chamber that we have, the one limitation with the particular chamber we have is you are not put on a gurney and rolled into the chamber. So you alluded to, Zach, a little bit earlier, these acrylic chambers, you can see through them. They roll you in a gurney, and you're kind of locked and loaded, so to speak, in the chamber in there. You can't really move around all that much in that. However, if you have somebody who's non-ambulatory, it's far easier to have somebody on a gurney and move them into the chamber, or you don't have to wear a hood system or a mask because it's a fully oxygenated atmosphere. But the flip side of that is that's why our chamber is a safer atmosphere to be in general, because it's not pressurized with oxygen. It's actually pressurized with ambient air pulled in through the compressor, and that's how the chamber is compressed. Really lost the train of thought there for a second. So really, the limitations is we've had people who are post back surgery, for instance, and it's a great healing mechanism for that. However, they can't bend at the waist, can't twist, and that. So we really can't put somebody who's immediately post-operative with like a low lumbar fusion, for instance, in those cases because of the positioning. We have had non-ambulatory traumatic brain injury cases, and we actually are able to transfer them into the chamber. In those cases, we have two people who are there. There's usually an attendant, whoever it may be, whether it's a parent or somebody who's an attendant for that individual, and we actually work together to transfer the patient into the chamber. And we've had a few of those where we've had wheelchair-bound traumatic brain injuries. And in a couple of those cases, famously, they got to either walking on walkers and out of their wheelchair, because it does actually promote motor function returning because of that neurological impact and healing neurological cells. So we've had people who've gone from walkers to nothing and walking across the room. We've had people who are wheelchair bound. Now, does that happen all the time? Entirely depends on the individual case. How long has the injury been there? How extensive is it? What's the age of the patient? There's a number of different factors that come into how somebody might respond in the chamber.
Is there any negative effects if someone, say, has um, is on like blood thinners, or somebody is passing a stone, or anything like that? Have you ever had any problems with any of that?
No, the one interesting and obscure case that we could not put in the chamber, it doesn't happen very often. There are far less things you can put somebody in the chamber for than you can put the chamber in for and will benefit from it. So if you have a rare blood disorder where you're producing too many red blood cells, that actually is a contraindication. Or I can use this as an example. And again, it's because each patient it's on a case by case basis. There's the absolute no-goes, which are that pneumothorax or collapsed lung and barrel trauma. Those are the absolutes. The other ones are generally on a case by case basis. So what we know from research that's out there is if somebody has COPD, for instance, if somebody's in early stage COPD, then a hyperbaric chamber is actually indicated and will actually produce greater longevity for that individual. If somebody's in a more advanced stage of COPD, they can't synthesize oxygen as well. So if you're pushing more oxygen at them, it's actually a contraindication. So it's the answer to the question is it's on a case by case basis. Mild forms of asthma, yes, and it's managed well, yes, you can put that person in the chamber. If somebody has a bad case of asthma or exercise-induced asthma that's bad, you can't in those particular cases. So you have to take each patient as an individual, look at their health history in depth, and make a good educated call on whether or not it's going to benefit. The thing is, the worst thing that happens is, and this was in that really obscure blood-borne where they're producing way too many blood cells. In that particular case, there was no information or studies. There was nothing in regards to that. So you monitor a chamber and you monitor it closely, and the patient wasn't doing very well in the early stages. So we pulled them out of the chamber. That's all.
George, I really appreciate this. I think this is very interesting. I really like the way that, look, this is definitely one of those programs, one of those procedures that I think people who are trying to stay away from drugs or alcohol, or they're trying to stay away from prescriptions, this would be something that would be very beneficial to them. Of course, we want to make sure that if people are coming in, they talk to their doctors and make sure that, their doctors understand what's going on. Because, look, your doctors know you a little bit more than you guys do. So if you approach your doctor and they say, "Oh, not sure if that's a good idea," at least they can be involved in that decision.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely defer to a physician. Absolutely. I am not a doctor. We defer to the physician we work with, or if it's somebody else who's referring from the outside, a physician, and that their opinion is the opinion that matters.
George, how do they get a hold of you, my friend?
Our clinic number is 970-880-4799, or you can email us at mountainhyperbarics, all lowercase, at gmail.com. We also have a website, mountainhyperbarics.com.
You guys, just real quick, give a shout out to the organization that you are working with that is helping our country's heroes.
Oh, absolutely, and always do. America's Mighty Warriors, the program within America's Mighty Warriors we work with is called Helping Heroes Heal. They also have a website. All the information that you need to know is there. They're happy to talk to veterans and see if they're a fit in the program. And actually, they are very efficient in turnaround time. You will not wait. You will not wait weeks. They will call you within 24, 48 hours is probably the longest I've heard any veteran needing to wait for an answer. But you're talking about veterans who are in that organization. Cowie, who's the spearhead of the organization and fields all the calls and qualifies people for treatment and everything. He's a vet. He's a vet who had hyperbaric treatment, and it worked so amazing for him. It turned around his life. He went to work for the organization. So,
Yep. One more time, your phone number and your email address.
Yeah, our phone number is 970-880-4799. And our email address is all lowercase mountainhyperbarics@gmail.com.
George Glass, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time. If you guys have anything come up, come back and talk to us.
All right. Thanks very much for having me, Zach. I appreciate it.
No problem. Your customers' everyday purchases can make a difference. Whether they're shopping in store or from a computer, for their family, or just to treat themselves. Why not help them turn those purchases into support for a cause they love? As a community Pay It Forward giving partner, a portion of what they spend goes directly to a mission that touches their heart, at no extra cost to them. With our Shop, Click, and Pick program, it's so easy. They visit our website, choose your business, and make a purchase. Then they simply choose a cause they love, and because they made the purchase from you, they donate to a cause they love. Community Pay It Forward. No one needs to go it alone when we all come together. What if one small act could change a life? What if your everyday purchases could support a cause? Join me for a special 3-hour podcast as we introduce incredible giving partners. Hear inspiring stories. Learn how you can shop with a purpose. And be part of a movement that turns kindness into action. Tune in, ask questions, and discover how you can pay it forward today for a better tomorrow. Well, that's going to be about it for us tonight. And for some reason, I cannot get out of the tiny screen. I'm no longer sharing the screen, but it's saying I'm sharing the screen. So I want to thank both of my wonderful guests today. And just make sure that you do yourself a favor. And look, if you're looking for a job, or if you're looking for something different and you're in the mountain area of Colorado, go on ahead and get rid of call out to George at Mountain Hyperbarics. I couldn't do it. When he was talking about, when he started talking about having the pressures, I couldn't do that. Being in a small plane, those are things that unfortunately I'm unable to do. So, but again, just because it doesn't work for me doesn't mean it's not going to work for you. And also, if you're looking to supplement your income, get a hold of Robert. Give it a shot. Look, they're trying to do some things to support some really good people, pets, vets, and kids. So, give it a shot. See what happens. Why not? I think I do not understand why that is still there, but they're kind of gone now. There's nothing even on that screen. So anyway, get a hold of Robert at robertstreasuretroves.com or go to Mountain Hyperbarics at mountainhyperbarics.com. Mountainhyperbarics.com. So once again, my name is Zach Clayton. Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the PAC channels. I want to thank you all very much for joining us. If you have anything that you would like to discuss with us, if you'd like some more information about animal assisted therapy, give us a call. 970-909-0751, 970-909-0751. Make sure that you love somebody out there, because somebody out here loves you. Please remember, folks, if you're not helping someone, you're hurting everyone. So just remember, no one has to go it alone when we all come together. Let's get together. Let's make sure that people are being taken care of. Thank you very much, and I will talk to you on Monday morning with Footprints Forward.
Show me the way. You wanna hold the heart of Sunset Boulevard. Bring me here, 'cause it's not quite clear